Hello and welcome back to the Commander Lurpack YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing some basic terrain building and how to get quick and easy results for not much money, hopefully. So you might have some miniatures that you've painted but no scenery or tabletop to play on. So a quick way of getting cheap and easy scenery is to get one of these. There we go. Artificial grass mats. I got this one from Lidl about a year ago for like £8 or £9. They pop up now and then, you can't always guarantee when they are, but if you see one, you can grab one and it should fill your table pretty much. So let's whack that down and see what it looks like. So put the grass mat on the table. This gives us a good basis for a board, and pop the miniatures down and already looks a lot better than just your tabletop. Now all we need is some scenery to fill this basic texture, and to start off with I'm thinking of fields. The reason I'm picking fields is because it's a terrain type that will work in pretty much any setting. If you're playing 40k or Heresy, then the most numerous planets in the Imperium are agri-planets because everybody needs to eat. So having fields on your battlefield makes sense. It also works for fantasy settings, having fields, farmers' fields, and medieval settings. And also for other historical settings like Bolt Action and World War II. So it's a very agnostic type of scenery. To build said fields, we are going to be using a plain core, I don't know how you pronounce it, mat. They're very cheap. Mine's from Wilco, rest in peace. Lots of people just cut them into squares, and that's a very easy way of doing a field. The only thing I don't like about that is when you have miniatures, you have to place them on top of the field, and I think they look a bit silly with a chap just perched on top of the field. So we are going to cut it up and make some field strips, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. So to do the bases for our fields, we're going to use some cardboard. Now I find the best sort of cardboard for this is your generic like packaging for frozen food. So you get to eat something and you also get to build scenery. It's a win-win.
Nice.
So we're just going to cut the boxes into some nice squares. Right, what size do you reckon our field should be? Suggestions? 5. 5 what?
A hand size.
A hand size. I reckon 10 centimetres. No, maybe more.
No, more.
Like 20.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got our cardboard bases cut from our lovely pizza boxes, and these will be the basis. Oh, we've got 6. I can count. We've got 6 cardboard bases for our fields. So next up, what we want to do is get our... I need to look up how to pronounce this. Koya?
Core.
Core?
Core.
Koya. And we're going to cut this into strips to go on here. So I would like the fields.
If you would say it phonetically, it would be soil.
Excuse me. I would like the fields to be spaced with the crops so that a model can fit in between each line of the field. So that is the spacing we're going to use, because most things tend to be on a bigger base than what they used to be. So we're going to go off of this slightly larger base size, which is 32 I think, and that's 28, no 25. Yes, Space Marines. Right, so we've cut our strips, and this is roughly the spacing that we're going to do for the crops. To fill in the space in between, we are going to use, 1 second, let me fetch it. We are going to use tile grout. Now, this might look expensive, however, places like Poundland pretty much always sell tile grout and it's relatively cheap. I got this whole tub from Poundland for £10 and I've done quite a few scenery projects with it now and there's still a fair bit in there. And we're just going to use this to create like the earth formations from the agriculture. We're going to use this to create the farming ground of a field.
Words don't come easy to me.
With the peak where the crops are and the little furrow in between. And then we're going to make it look like mud later. So let's slap some of that on. First of all, I'm going to draw around roughly where these are so I know where to put the little mounds. So I'm just going to prime up the cardboard with some PVA so that the tile grout sticks to it and it doesn't just pop off. So I've primed all my squares up with some PVA so that it doesn't just repel the tiling grout. And while these ones are drying, I'm going to start putting the grout on. So the plan is, using just a fill-in knife basically, is to mound up the grout where we want our strips of crop, and then while the grout is drying we're going to put the strips of crop into the grout so that it holds it in place on a higher elevation. That's the plan. Let's see how it goes. The grout is pretty much dried. I'm an impatient man, so I hair dried it. So next step will be to get some cheap acrylic paint, some brown burnt umber, and a little hack is using one of the goo or the Lidl knockoff goo dessert pots. They come with a little lid which you can put on, and then it keeps your paint fresh if you put too much in there. So I'm just going to use this brown and slap it on.
Looks like a poop.
It does look like poop, there you are, correct. I've just finished putting the brown onto here, starting to look a bit more like a field. If you were just going to do the brown, you'd probably do another coat and then you could probably leave it there, because once you start putting the models on, it starts to look a bit more, you know, realistic, and that's the sort of effect you're going for. However, I'd like to add a few more steps to it, but feel free to not bother with these. They're more of just a thing that you can do to add a bit more depth to it. So what I'm going to do is use Vallejo Thick European Mud. I really like this product because it's just really good, realistic looking mud straight out of the bottle. It's £10 a tub, last time I bought it anyway, which isn't too bad. I mean, I use one of these to do a 2 foot by 2 foot section of board, and in my other series, and it covers it. And then the other product I'm going to use is AK Puddles, and I just put this over the top of the Vallejo mud, and it basically just makes it look wet, which is quite a cool effect. And you can put it in any like deeper areas, like in here, to make it look like it's a puddle, which is what it's actually meant for, to make things look wet. But those are the 2 extra steps I'm going to do. So let's get on with that. Right, going to get some of my mud and get a nice dollop on the brush that you don't care about, because this will ruin your brush. And you're just going to get it and splodge it on, basically. There's not really much finesse to this. You don't want to spread it out too much, because you want to get some of that nice mud texture. If you have any bits poking through, it doesn't matter, because you're just going to have the brown from the acrylic, which will give you some nice variation in colour. And you just want to put this all over, basically, and this will give you a realistic looking mud texture. So I've just finished putting on my thick European mud. I've hair dried it off because I'm impatient. Starting to look a bit more realistic now. I really like the effect of the Vallejo stuff. Next up, I am going to put on some AK Puddles, and this will be the finishing step. So I'm going to put a bit of it all over the mud, just to make it look wet, and then I'm going to put some deeper bits in the middle of each of these, like furrows or whatever you want to call it, just to make it look like it's a bit deeper, and that's where the water's settled. So I'm just going to use the same brush that I've been using, because it's pretty much like dead now. And oh, the actual nozzles come off of the hold on a second. That's not meant to happen. Oh well. So we'll just have to dollop it on. There we go. And now you just want to spread it out. So with the pouring of the resin, this marks the last step in our project for making the fields. It's been a lot of fun doing these fields, so without further ado, I'll stop talking and I will show you the final reveal of what these fields look like on the tabletop. Thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. They're not the best looking fields in the world, but I made them for quite cheap and they're quite easy to do, so hopefully some of you might find this video helpful. I'm going to continue along this same sort of theme, and the next sort of terrain video I'm going to do is making trees for as cheap as sort of possible. So hopefully you enjoy that, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
Bye!